Okay, imagine this. You take 50 of the biggest streamers in the world, you trap them in a giant room, and you put $1 million on the line. Well, that's exactly what Mr. Beast did, and what he created was one of the wildest, most chaotic social experiments we've ever seen on YouTube. So today, we're gonna break it all down: the strategy, the social dynamics, and just the pure mayhem of it all.
This right here, this is the number that changes everything. $1 million. It's not just a prize, right? It's the fuel for every single decision, every alliance, and every betrayal from here on out.
The rule couldn't be simpler. The last person standing walks away with all of it. Every single thing they do now is driven by that one single massive goal.
And you've got 50 people all fighting for it. But these aren't just any 50 people. We're talking about massive personalities, each with their own fan base, their own ego, and their own ideas on how to win. And that's the key here. This isn't 50 random contestants. It's a clash of titans, all stuck together, all gunning for the same prize. The whole setup is just a perfect incubator for drama. So the setup? It's brilliantly simple. 50 streamers locked inside a giant cube. The very last one to leave wins the money. That's it. That's the one fundamental rule. Just don't leave. And you can see how fast that mindset shifts. From the second they walk in, it's not about being friends. It's about strategy, it's about alliances, and it's about figuring out just how far you're willing to push things to win. The very first challenge immediately puts that thinking to the test. This isn't a game of skill. Nope. This is a game of social politics, and it's played with paintball guns. The rules are just brutal. Everybody gets one shot. You aim it at the picture of the person you want out, and the 5 streamers with the most hits on their picture, they're gone. It's simple, it's public, and it's designed to create enemies right off the bat.
So what's really going on here? For some people, it was pure revenge. You shoot me, I'm shooting you right back. But for others, it was all strategy. Take out the biggest threats early. And for a few, it was just total chaos. Accidental hits, missed shots, completely changing the game. It basically forced everyone to show their hand.
Okay, so after that social culling, Mr. Beast decides to raise the stakes by throwing in a massive temptation: a brand new Lamborghini. But of course, it comes with a huge, huge risk. So here's the deal. This game is totally optional. If you decide to play, you put on a blindfold, you place your hand on the car, and you try to pull it off as close as you can to the 10-minute mark. If you win, you give the car to one of your viewers. But here's the catch. Everyone else who even tries is eliminated from the $1 million game. This puts everyone in a really interesting spot. Do you risk your shot at $1 million for a prize you don't even get to keep? Well, the vast majority said, no way. Only 4 streamers were willing to take that gamble, and it set up this incredibly tense showdown. But, of course, some players found an edge almost immediately. While they were blindfolded, 2 of the finalists had friends on the outside secretly counting down the time for them. This is a classic gaming strategy called comms, and in this case, it was a perfectly legal way to get a massive advantage. And this quote from one of the players who got eliminated just says it all. He had no idea having an ally help you was even allowed. In an environment like this, that line between a clever strategy and, well, cheating gets really blurry. Using every single advantage you can find is the name of the game. All right, the next challenge was designed for one thing: mass elimination. The streamers who were left had to make a choice that would seal their fate, splitting them into 2 groups: gamers and athletes. So you had to choose a path. Are you betting on your video game skills, or do you think you've got the athletic ability to win? And the pressure was on because Mr. Beast announced that over half the players would be eliminated, and only 10 from each side would make it through. It was a huge decision based entirely on knowing your own strengths. And I mean, look where they went. It was overwhelming. The vast majority, true to their job title, chose the video game path. They knew exactly where their strengths were, and for most of them, it was definitely not on a sports field. But before the sports challenge could even really get going, we had maybe the most bizarre elimination of the entire event. The goalie for the soccer challenge was revealed to be the streamer Speed, and Ludwig, well, Ludwig got a little too excited.
And that was his downfall. In his excitement to go say hi to Speed, Ludwig took one single step outside the playing field and was immediately eliminated. He broke the one single overarching rule of the entire competition. Just a brutal, self-inflicted mistake.
Meanwhile, the video game challenge was a Fortnite battle royale, and it started out pretty strategically. You had the top players forming alliances, flying around in planes to stay safe. But as that storm started to shrink, it forced everyone into a tiny space, and pure chaos just took over. This led to these rapid-fire eliminations that took out even legendary pro players like Tfue.
So for the top 20 who made it through all that, the challenges shifted again. This time, it moved away from individual skill and became all about team coordination and memory.
Okay, so the rules were pretty straightforward. The players formed 5 teams of 4. They had just 10 seconds to memorize a pattern of shapes on the floor. Then, a shape would be called out, and the entire team had to run to where they thought it was. The 2 teams with the lowest score at the end, they were out.
After a really brutal first round where most teams only scored a couple of points, it all came down to a tiebreaker. And one team, under all that pressure, just absolutely nailed it. They achieved a perfect score. All 4 members landed right inside the correct shape, showing off some seriously perfect communication and memory.
And this really brings us to the biggest question of the whole event, right? In a competition that's defined by luck and politics and just pure chaos, can a perfect strategy actually come out on top? Or does the madness just consume everyone in the end? It's a fascinating look at where skill ends and pure chance begins.